Lilian had watched the other students in their identical blazers and crested caps saying goodbye to their mothers and fathers, and hoped they'd all be kind to her son. "Be good for your teacher," she'd said, and hugged him until the softly spoken Ms. Giordano bent down next to her and gently said, "Hello, Jamie. Do you like building things with blocks?" Jamie had nodded vigorously and followed the woman with the curly dark hair and silver ballet flats through the school gates as Lilian watched and waved, trying to suppress the emotions bubbling up inside of her. Once he was gone, she hurried back to her car, managing to slam the door shut just before she burst into tears. She sat there crying until a woman in a dress the colour of daffodils knocked on the window and mouthed, "Are you all right?" Mortified, Lilian nodded and wound down her window. "Yes, I'm fine. God, you must think I'm an idiot." She pressed the pads of her fingers into her eyelids. The woman smiled knowingly. "You must be a kindergarten mother." She pulled some tissues from her handbag. "I'm Caroline. I packed these just in case. My little boy started today too." "Thank you. I don't usually cry like this." Lilian wiped her eyes and blew her nose. "It can be scary to let go. My son's quite shy. I worry he'll be easily led. His name is Jeremy, but we call him Jez." Lilian nodded. "Jamie was very sick when he was little. He's all right now, but there was a time when we weren't sure he'd make it. And then, out of the blue..." Tears started to leak from her eyes again, but she had control of them now. "It was a miracle," she said, dabbing at her puffy eyes. "It's just hit me. I can't protect him in there. I know it's a good thing that he's able to leave me, but it's an adjustment. These are happy tears, really." "Oh, I can't imagine what you've been through," Caroline said. "I hope you do something special for yourself today." Lilian exhaled, ridding herself of the last of her sadness. "Yes," she said, smiling. "Thank you." She drove home, warming to the idea of marking Jamie's first day of school with a celebration. The Hatton Road cellars came into view, so she parked the car and went in. She took a bottle of Verve off the shelf and was just about to pay for it when her eyes landed on a bottle of Dom Perignon. The hand-drawn grapevines of its label conjured up thoughts of provincial vineyards and blue summer skies. She decided that, after everything her family had endured, they deserved a bottle of something extra special. Soon she was back at the house, channeling her apprehension into preparing a celebratory meal. She baked Jamie's favourite chocolate cake and made a niçoise salad, letting each task soothe and calm her. She was thinking she would even let Kate have a glass of champagne. Kate had just started her final year of school, also at St. Nick's, which was a co-ed K-12, and she had suffered as much as anybody when Jamie's diagnosis blew up their lives. Lilian was marinating a chicken, her hands glistening with lemon juice and olive oil when the landline rang. She glanced up at the caller ID to see St. Nick's. Her tranquility shattered. She snatched the receiver off the wall. "Hello? Miss Avery? Is it Jamie? Is everything all right?" "Hello, Mrs. Hogarth. Sorry to give you a scare. Yes, Jamie's fine." The receptionist explained that she was ringing about Kate, who had forged a note from her father to say she had an orthodontist's appointment, only for the Year 12 coordinator to discover she was among a group of students who had skipped school to attend the climate rally in Hyde Park. "The news is saying the protest is getting out of hand." "Oh, thank God," Lilian said. I mean, I'll be there right away." Jamie was due to finish his first day at 2:00, so Lilian called John and asked him to fetch their son. Then she drove to the city in search of their daughter. She realised this was a futile plan when she saw the hordes of protesters milling around. There were city workers carrying placards, grandparents with slogans on their T-shirts, and toddlers on their shoulders, and undergraduates dressed up as koalas. The crowd seemed orderly and invigorated by the strong turnout. She wasn't worried. People were beginning to disperse, and Kate would almost certainly be sitting in a booth with her friends somewhere, eating hot chips. Still, Lilian decided she'd park the car and check some of the places she knew Kate liked, when Miss Avery called again to say the students had turned up at the school. It was now